bread tonight in Papa Jack's kitchen. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope. I'd like to thank my camera person tonight, my wife Laura, and we're going to give Indian fried bread a try tonight. A lot of people had texted me and phoned me and wanted me to try this, so going to give it a whirl. This is 5 pounds of self-rising flour, sifted self-rising flour. And I've already put in 4 tablespoons of Clabber Girl baking powder, and in 2 tablespoons of Morton iodized salt. I don't know if the iodized makes any difference or not. In this pitcher, I have ice water. Water that you would drink on a very cold day after mowing the lawn. It's good and cold. I don't know how cold, but water that you take a good draw from in the summertime. Now, this is the tricky part in actually making the fry bread. I've got my olive oil back here, and I use vegetable oil, Crisco. My great-grandmother, Granny Christie, first time I saw her make it, she used the old pig lard, the big old hamster pig on the side of the box. You can do that if you want. It does taste a little different, but it's probably not very heart conscious. And then my wife Laura has made the meat dressing, and she made it from scratch. It's kind of a chili base, and I can't wait to taste it after we get everything all put together. The fry bread itself, you kind of have to dig a hole here in the middle of this. And I use a fork because it kneads it in really well, and then kind of get a little hole down in there. And then you take your water and dribble a few drips down in there and begin to work it like so. That's quiet sounding. Reminds me of Granny Christie. Then you kind of start taking it and working it with your fingers. And it's kind of going to look like pie crust, and it's not pie crust. And I'm going to try to make a pretty good sized taco because Laura wants the first one. And you have to be very gentle with it. Don't squash it down to make it tighten up on you. You want it really kind of nice and fluffy, and it's going to be kind of crusty. People who have made pie crust can see the similarity in it. And you can kind of just fluff it out. You can roll it a little bit, not too much. About like that. And this is granite, and it's just a really small dusting of flour there, and it keeps it from sticking. And I'm going to put this in there in the oil like this and give it a whirl. Now it's going to kind of flake off and stuff, and the Crisco, because it's fresh oil, it's not going to turn real dark on us. It'll kind of have a light, crusty looking color. But something like that. And then walk over. Now be careful, don't want to burn yourself, but it should give a good pop, good kind of sizzling sound like when you open up a bottle of pop. It'll kind of be buzzing like that. It'll float. If it sinks, you got problems. Make sure that you have something to drain it off of. This is just a bacon cooker for microwave, but it's tilted so the oil will drain off of it. The oil should be around 350 degrees. But you can hear it cook. I forgot how calming this is. And since Madison's home, we actually really do have an Indian princess here in the house. So this is really Indian fry bread. Of course, if you're from Oklahoma, everybody's related to Indian princes anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Now when you see the edges kind of start getting darker than the rest of it, it's time to turn it over because it's getting too crusty. And that's about right, because you can overcook it and it gets potato chip-like, and you don't want that because you want to be able to cut through this with a fork. So keep it nice and tender, nice and light. It's kind of labor intensive, this part here, because it didn't take much at all to get it going. You kind of hear it just about right. But then again, you don't want to undercook it because then you wind up with the dough inside of it. It's still floating. That's a good. It's puffed out. Now, some people don't put the extra baking powder in there, but I do because it helps keep it fluffy, for lack of a better word. Not too heavy. Now you got both sides about like that. Okay. If you got a strainer, you can use a strainer to scoop it out. If you have a really big pan, I just using the tongs here because I knew it would be fine. So don't drop it in there and do it. There we go. And nice and light. Now, put it on your plate, like so. And now we get to check out Laura's chili here. Oops. That looks pretty good. Now, this needs to be served warm, hot, okay? Good scoop here with the meat. Now, dear, do you want everything on yours? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So, we got fry bread and your meat. Now, these are plain old brown beans. They've been cooking now, I guess, about 2 days. They got good soup in them. It's kind of starting to thicken up. It's not real runny, okay? Good scoop here. Now, some people, at this point, the entrepreneurship of things begins to take hold because some people like a lot of juice. No, you're good? Okay, all right. Laura says stop. There we go. Now, this part here, lettuce, I like to use the lettuce as a base. Now, chop your lettuce up. Don't leave it in striated or in strips because you want to be able to cut through from the top to the bottom with a fork. You don't need a piece of tomato getting in your way or have to hacksaw through a piece of lettuce or an onion ring, something like that. You want something that's nice and neat, okay, all the way from the top to the bottom. Now, good? Okay, all right. Then, little tomato, fresh tomato, and dice them up just like we do the lettuce. Now, these are plain white onions here, so they're the real thing. So she says, whoa, I'll whoa there, okay. Now, do you want your sauce before, under the cheese, or on top of the cheese?
Don't care.
Doesn't matter, okay. I like, now this is from New York City salsa, and I forgot the name of it. A little bit there. Top like that. Now, this is Colby Jack, and forgot the other one. And then a big dollop of sour cream. And of course, the white serving towel. And again, I'll say hello to my grandchildren again. And this is Papa Jack's Kitchen. And I hope to make this for you very soon. And I hope that everyone is safe and abiding by the social distancing and the wearing of masks because we're not through this yet. But many blessings to you and your family, from my family, and the people that are still suffering on a global basis. We can get through this together. But this is from the heart, and I'm sure my wife's going to enjoy this. And to conclude this, I started with the drum. just like life, it's a circle. Bon appetit.